daily route, unpredictable route. Your home is somewhere here. Yes, Mike? So let's just say, for argument's sake, you live over here. Okay? Where do you go every day? Work or somewhere?
North, south.
Where did you go yesterday?
Carlsbad.
Okay. Where's Carlsbad? We'll have to zoom out, yes? Okay, so...
So it's Carlsbad right there, Dad.
Right there? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put down work. Where did you go after? Yeah. Where's that?
56. Feeling.
Go down. Right here.
Okay, so you went to right here? Right over there. Okay, so let's put in more work, yes? Over here? Okay. And where else did you go?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. So what this is calculating right now is, thank you, Mike, his distance from his home to where he went yesterday and where the other location was he went. And when you get back home at the end of the day, you still have 34 miles remaining on that charge. So this is assuming that you charge the car overnight, you have 100 miles, 100% charge, and you drive your daily route or whatever you did yesterday, you still have 34 miles remaining at the end when you get back to your garage or parking space at the end of the day to plug your car in.
Any idea if you used air conditioning the whole route?
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't calculate a couple things. It doesn't calculate a lot of variables. Any idea? 5% or less?
Oh, so
Yeah.
I would thought.
As the battery ages, will that just look like a decreased range?
It will. The engineers who designed the battery expect it to sort of lose its capacity over time at a rate of about 1% every 10,000 miles. So that's within the range of the 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty. If you'd like, you can use this tool as well, because we understand the Nissan Leaf is not for everybody. In fact, it's not for about 5% of the Americans who drive more than 100 miles a day. But for the 95% of Americans who drive 100 miles a day or less, this is actually a great car for those folks. 70% of all commuters in the U.S. drive 40 miles or less every day. So to actually be a part of that, this could be your primary car if you're driving 40 miles or less. Go to work, come back. This isn't accounting for things like, hey, well, when I was at work, did I trickle charge? Because that'll get you about 4 miles every hour you have it plugged in. Or did I find one of those DC fast charging stations? Or was I going uphill? Or was I going downhill? Did I have 4 people in the car, 5 people in the car? Was I going on the interstate or was I in stop and go traffic? There are a bunch of variables involved. And in fact, on that the MyDrive or the Drive Nissan Leaf website on your wristband, you can actually find the 4 different scenarios where we managed to get something as good as 128 miles of range and something as bad as 68 miles of range. And they will lay out for you the temperatures and the time and the distances and the rates of speed and all that stuff. We understand that, not everybody is going to want to buy an electric vehicle, but for the majority of Americans, we think it's actually the right car today, this week, this month. Did you have a question?
Yeah, you're going to have to use the nav inside the car to guarantee that you're not going to run out of charge before you get to your destination or to another location. So for instance, do I need to tell the car I plan to go to A, B, C, and D, and the car's going to be smart enough to say, hey, you know what, you're not going to make it. So somewhere between D and C, you're going to need to find a charging station and know here's the closest one.
Yeah.
And is it going to be smart enough to do that? And do I need to always be telling the car, here's where I plan to go in order for it to, obviously.
Here's 2 charging stations right now that come up on this grid. Now this system, this program isn't smart enough to tell it to charge, but let's say we added a little shopping in here, but we added shopping out in Ramona somewhere. I don't know what you'd be shopping for there. However, okay, you got 1 mile to go, so let's add in another restaurant on the way back somewhere down here. So that should go over the range. So at some point here between these 2, you'll need to recharge. Okay.
So it's just a related question, because I know where he's coming from. There are 2 things. One, topology. Does your application take into account elevation change? So that's number 1. Number 2, I had an original Insight 2000, I had 75 miles per gallon, 115,000 miles on it. And I find, and it'll be the same thing with electric vehicle, how you drive will have about a 40% variation in your mileage. 40%. Just if you step on it, it'll peel rubber and you'll burn power. And if you take off nice and slow, you brake slow so you recharge, You're
Does
back
your
on
Insight-
stage, but it makes a huge difference. Thank
Does
you.
your Insight have an eco mode?
Yes. Oh, my Insight has more than eco. The original Insight has lean burn mode.
Yep.
So how you drive makes.
We have an eco mode on, and I'll talk while I'm walking, and I'll answer the question about range and things like that. But let's all head outside.